For a tree. Come over to this side, please. No, I wasn't going to say that to Ricky because he would leave.
You guys look like Palm Sunday.
That's the only greenery I can find. All right, so we're going to have tree 1, tree 2, and tree 3 right here. So I'm in the middle. All right. So this skit is not a Myron original. This is called The Legend of the Three Trees. The author is unknown, and it's traditional. It's a traditional folk tale. So I saw this online, and so I broke it up into actual parts. So here we go. Once upon a time, there were 3 trees on a mountaintop in Arizona. They were discussing their hopes and dreams.
Someday, I hope to be a treasure chest. I will be filled with gold, silver, and precious gems. I can be decorated with incense, carvings, and everything that would see my beauty. Everyone.
Someday I will be a mighty ship. I will take kings and queens across the seas and sail to the corners of the earth. Everyone will feel safe in me because of the strength of my hold.
I want to grow to be the tallest and straightest tree in the forest. People will see me on top of the hill and will look up to my branches and think of the heavens and how close I am to reaching them. I will be the greatest tree of all time, and people will always remember me.
All of us have dreams just like these 3 trees. After a few years of praying that their dreams would come true, a group of woodcutters came upon the trees.
Hit him, Jerry.
Woodcutters, you can all stage up near the front if you want. It doesn't matter.
Tree 1.
Yeah, you have to cut down tree 1.
Makes sense, I guess, don't it? This looks like a strong tree. I do think that I would be able to sell this to a carpenter.
All right, woodcutter number 2.
No,
Narrator.
Oh, really? Sorry. The first tree was very happy because he knew that a carpenter could make him into a treasure chest for precious gems and metals. Now woodcutter number 2.
Okay. This looks like a strong tree too. I should be able to sell this tree to the shipyard.
The second tree was even more happy than the first tree because he knew that he was on his way to becoming a mighty ship. All right, woodcutter number 3.
I don't have any special need for this tree. It looks pretty worthless to me, so I'm just going to cut it down and see if it'll be useful for something. Wow! Wow!
The third tree was sad and frightened because of Dean's aggressive cutting him down with the legs. No. The third tree was sad and frightened that his dreams would not come true. Meanwhile, when the first tree arrived at the carpenter's, he was made into a feed box for animals, and he was placed in a barn and filled with hay. You can put the tree branch down because you've been converted to a feed box. You can stand right here in front of it, that's fine. All right. This was not what the first tree had dreamed of or prayed for, and he was very disappointed. Look this way. The second tree went to the shipyard and was made into a small fishing boat. Small fishing boat.
It's a sailboat.
His dreams of being a mighty ship carrying kings and queens across the seas was ended. The third tree was cut up into planks and was left alone in the darkness. You can leave the cross there. Just bring up the wood plank for now.
I don't have to be a bad guy, right?
Huh?
I don't have to be the bad guy.
No, not yet. Many years went by, and all the three trees forgot about their dreams and prayers. Have you ever been at a point in your life which you felt like your dreams were gone forever? Just like in Legend of the Three Trees, we can be encouraged that God is always in control, and when we trust Him, He is able to do exceeding abundantly more than we can think or imagine. Ephesians 3:20. Well, back to our story. One day, a man and a woman came to the barn to stay for a while. So go get the baby. She gave birth to a baby boy while she was there, and she placed the baby boy in the hay in the feed box.
It's a toddler.
Yeah.
There.
Yep, that's not a real baby.
The man wished he could have made a proper crib for the baby, but this feed box would have to do. But somehow the first tree felt the importance of this event and knew that he had indeed held the greatest treasure of all time. Some years later, a group of men got into a small fishing boat made from the timber of the second tree. One of them was tired and fell asleep. While they were out on the water, a great storm came up, and the second tree did not think he was strong enough to keep the men safe. The other men in the fishing boat then woke the man who was asleep, and he got up and said, "Peace!" and the storm suddenly stopped. Now the second tree knew that he indeed carried the King of Kings.
Big smile.
Finally, some 3 years later, someone came and got the third tree's planks out of the dark shed. It was carried through the streets as the people mocked the man who was carrying it. When they came to a stop on a small hill, the man was nailed to the tree and raised in the air to die there. On Sunday, the third tree suddenly came to realize that it was indeed strong enough to stand on the top of a hill for all to see, and that he was closer to heaven than he ever could have imagined. That was better than being the tallest tree in the world. So life changers, be encouraged. God says in Jeremiah 29:11-14, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. In those days when you pray, I will listen. If you look for me in earnest, you will find me when you seek me. I will be found by you, says the Lord. Seek him," he says. "He will be found by us. And when we seek him with our whole heart, we will find him." Just as the legend of the three trees points out, God's plans for us are bigger and better than anything we could have ever dreamed. Amen. Thank you.